Hey everybody, wanted to hop on today to dive into another whiteboard session case study. I gave the first case study a couple days ago if you want to check that out, and wanted to hop in today to tell you about one that we had yesterday that was really awesome. So I'm just going to dive right in. This one is particularly relevant if you are, and you might hear some of yourself in it if you're kind of craving something new and you know you want to do something big and different and challenging, but you're not exactly sure what that is. So yesterday's client, when we got together, what she wanted to explore in our whiteboard session was trying to find some clarity around her professional journey and what she might want to do next. So I'm give you kind of a hint on what, and I'm sharing these with permission. I just want to make sure that you guys know that I'm sharing these with permission. I have eliminated all identifying and like sensitive information. So I always like to start kind of on this side of the board. I don't know what direction that is for you, but this is my, I guess, the left side of the board. And we really just kind of started to examine big themes, like what kind of initially she wanted to explore. She had this metaphor for creating something new. I love using metaphors. So our metaphor became like the salad shop, right? Which could represent anything. And just these general themes about, well, what could it be that she wanted to make happen next? And there were options of, well, I could do my own thing and open this metaphorical salad shop, or I could maybe make a big move internationally or pursue some personal goals. Just this general desire to do something new. Hi, Lindsay, I see you. Some themes that came up for her was just like she wanted something scary and exciting and fun and challenging. And I highlighted these two sentences that she just kind of said, which, I don't want to do the simple, easy thing that I know how to do. I don't know if that resonates with you at all. And this also kind of this broad, there was just a strong energy around it when she said, I want to get out on my own and build something. And that really jumped out at me. And so when things jump out at me when we're having these conversations, sorry, I realize you can't see that. I like to, I use these different colors and highlight them. So then what we did was kind of move into this direction of like, well, what could that be? Like, is there a specific idea around which to build something? And that's what we started to fill in here was, well, what could those things be? And what became clear, maybe there's a salad shop, maybe a franchise, maybe this whole idea of like, wouldn't it be cool if, like, what could the thing be to build and to make, to take some action on that would be challenging and scary and exciting. And what it all kind of boiled down to ultimately, and this was about an hour in, is we really hit the nail on the head with this idea of she wants to discover what it is that she wants to build. And that felt very clear. And from that place of like, okay, so we want to discover what it is that we want to build. You want to build something, you want it to be challenging and new and kind of scary. But the big question, kind of at the heart of everything we were exploring, was I want to know what I want to build, and then I want to build it. So for the first time in whiteboard session history, we actually moved on to a second whiteboard. So I'm going to switch them out. Hold on one second. So when we landed on that question, it was actually really great because that was something that we could then work with, like, well, wanting to know what you want to build. And so we then kind of broke that whole question down into this exercise that I do that actually I kind of came up and got created spontaneously with a client I was working with around, if you don't know what it is that you want to do specifically, you can figure out what the ingredients of that thing might be. So let's say, for example, you really want to bake something, but you don't know what you want to bake, but you know that you want it to have a certain kind of flour and locally sourced products and humanely raised dairy, and you have these ingredients that you want to be a part of things, then the bakeries that you go bake at it kind of opens things up because you're willing to say, as long as you have all these ingredients, then it doesn't matter what the bakery is. So if you're not exactly sure what the thing is that you want to go make or create, a good question to ask yourself is, well, what ingredients are important to you? And that's really what the next step that we dove into kind of during the second hour of our whiteboard session was really giving a lot of room and breath to like, well, what is it that matters? Because it's not just going to be anything. It's not just, well, let's just go build something for the sake of building it. That was very clear to her. But some of the ingredients that were important to her were, you know, something that has a new approach. She really loves finding a new perspective on things. She enjoys seeing things that other people don't see. It was really important to her that whatever it is does no harm, that it is a positive thing for people at a deeper level and not just this like temporary band-aid. Something that was in line with her values, something innovative. So these ingredients, just having them in front of her and having that clarity was really, it was very eye-opening, and it felt very solid when a lot of things were not feeling very clear. Then what we did was move into like, all right, using these ingredients, what could you do? And could is, you know, building a could list is one of my favorite exercises. I use it, I assign it to people all the time. But at the back half of our conversation, or the back section, we really started to dive into what could she do with some of these ingredients? And that's what we really started to workshop here, you know. And she had some specific ideas like, well, maybe it's a franchise, maybe it's an exercise studio, maybe it's an outdoor adventure. But her assignment kind of walking away with this week, because as part of the whiteboard session, she's going to get my support for the rest of this week. We then kind of capped the conversation with a list of actions and steps she could take this week to continue this exploration. So the first one, I erased this up here, but was to set up some strategic conversations with people in her life that know her well and that she trusts really well and that can give her some really great feedback on her ideas, who probably see things in what she's up to that she hasn't even seen herself. So that was her first thing. To embrace this coming week with a spirit of fun and exploration. And then over here, you know, action steps, building on her lists. So she's going to continue to develop her ingredients and bakeries lists. An exclusion list, this one is great. So if you're not sure what you want to do, but you know you want to do something, write down what you don't want to do. That can be very clarifying too, because knowing what you don't want to do is as important as knowing what you do. So don't ignore that piece. Continue to seek inspiration. So again, looking for people who are taking steps, who have built something, and noticing what comes up for her as she reads their stories. Not forcing it. Okay, that's an important one, because this worry of like, well, what if I don't know within the week? And that really wanting to take the pressure off of it. And then talking to her boss, like maybe the circumstances she's in now could actually be used as a tool, as opposed to a roadblock to what it is that she wants to discover. So I will share the photos of these in the comments below so that you can look at them if you're seeking some inspiration and just see what comes out of this. If this kind of conversation and having this very focused and short-term kind of coaching partnership to help you find clarity is something that you're interested in, please leave me a comment. I am extending invitations to whiteboard sessions privately, so if we think that this could be a fit, I would love to tell you more about it. So feel free to leave a comment or send me a direct message, and we'll be in touch. I plan on coming back and circling back to these case studies so that you can kind of see how things progress and what happens over time. And I appreciate you being here. Feel free to leave any questions below, and we'll talk soon. Have a good day.